Working with colors.
Thanks. So I had already here. I just heard like I don't know what happened here.
It's changed. So it's on D.
Welcome to calculus class.
And I want
Isn't 3x squared?
You didn't have to guess a lot. Okay. But you didn't have to do a lot of guessing, right? Good. Alright, so for the friends watching at home, we're on page 40, working through problems 1, 2, and 3. Get about 3 more minutes. Right, so the derivative of 3x is 3x. You picked the right answer, but if you had written that down on the paper, I couldn't give you all the credit. And the 3x is what parentheses there. Right, because it's another one of the things. You need the parentheses to say your square root.
Wait, are you going to take me on
On the multiple choice out here, I just want to make, on free response though, I want to make sure that you're not making up that and having it. Good. So we memorize the derivative of arc change in the back. Okay? You are using it appropriately, now you should figure out what's the right thing.
These are actually.
Okay, how are we doing?
It has to be 3 over.
Yeah, no, that actually can't be.
I said it's on D.
No. It can't be here.
Yeah.
So it's not, oh, you did good on the
100% agree.
Which one do you
C is wrong because it's one plus.
We need to be careful. Your calculus is most on 10. That 3 is divided as a fraction is 3 over 1, which means 3 only multiplies the numerator, not multiplies.
Well, you don't know how to spell it.
Ready to why is that? Thank you guys for being here.
So you know what we need to do because
Right, what you guys have right now is you're saying 1 over. You're saying that? Here's the problem. I think what you're thinking is this is arctan of stuff, which is 1 over stuff squared. What's the stuff that has to get squared? Oh, it's the whole 3x that needs to get squared. meaning you need 3x times 3x, which is going to be 9x squared. I got it.
You're so smart.
I got it. Indeed, too slow. Alrighty. So here we go real quick, and then we're going to switch gears. Most folks seem to be okay with the first one. 1 over 3x the whole thing squared plus 1 times the derivative of 3x is going to be 3.
That's key.
Then we ran into some weird algebra stuff. If you get here, calculus is good. Then it's algebra. 3x times 3x, 9x squared plus 1. Which is obviously the same thing as this one. I just moved terms around in the denominator. Okay, how many of you guys honestly had B for number 1? Okay, not bad, not bad. All right, number 2, y equals arc sine of e to the 2x, dy dx. I need to find the derivative. Derivative of arc sine is 1 over square root 1 minus right, e to the 2x squared. The whole stuff gets squared times the derivative of the stuff, the derivative of e to the 2x. And this is where you've got to be careful.
Yeah, it's e to the power of.
It's e to the power of 2x times 2. Okay? E to the 2x, the whole thing squared. E to the 2x times e to the 2x should be e to the 4x. 1 times e to the 2x times 2 is 2e to the 2x. Over that guy, is that 8? How many guys honestly had 8? Okay, but you would have gotten there. Okay, number 3 I'm worried about, and I think most of you didn't get a chance to look at this one. So take another minute, see what you can do at number 3.
What does it mean? So when is 0, 0?
No, because this is not arc tan, this is arc sine. Oh, arc
Alright, most folks seem to be in the process of finding the derivative. Jose in the back, why are we finding the derivative?
Because they want the tangent line.
You want the equation of the tangent line, so finding the derivative gets you what?
Slope.
Get you the slope. Okay, so to get the slope, oh, I need a new marker. Oh, all the things, and my birthday's already come and gone, bummer. So I need to find the derivative of arc tan x over 3. So when I walked around, I saw a lot of folks that had this 1 over stuff squared plus 1 times the derivative of x over 3. Right? You've got to remember to find the derivative of the stuff. And I saw 2 people that said, okay, derivative of x over 3, I know how to find the derivative. What do we need? X over 3 quotient rule? Little low d high minus high d low, low low. That's great. Here's another way I want you to think about this. X over 3, what if you write this as 1/3 x? First of all, is that legal?
Yes.
X over 3 is the same as 1/3 x. What's the derivative? The derivative of 1/3 x. This means 1/3 times x. The derivative has to be 1/3. And then you skip completely any quotient rule business. If you do the quotient rule, you're going to get 1/3. You're going to write it probably as 3/9, but it's the same thing. So you've got now 1 over x over 3 squared plus 1 times 1/3. We found the derivative. You need to know what's the derivative if you plug in 0. So plug in 0. 1 over, well, 0 divided by 3, 0. 0 squared is 0 plus 1 is 1. So I think our slope is 1/3. I bet a lot of you wrote, if you had gotten here, you would naturally write the equation as 1/3 x minus 0 plus 0. Because that's just the way we write it all the time. And College Board, those evil people that they are, don't give that to you as an option. They're hiding it again. They love to hide their answers. Right, like x minus 0, that's just x. So L of x is 1/3 x. Are any of those the same as saying 1/3 x? Right, maybe if you write this as y equals 1/3 x, and you start looking at like, I don't think that's going to be B, C doesn't make any sense, D doesn't make any sense. It's either A or it's E. What they're doing, if you multiply both sides by 3, you get 3y equals x. And then if you subtract the 3y, you'll get x minus 3y equals 0. It's fine. It's a little strange that they decided to not go with slope, intercept, point slope form. They normally do, but we'll be all right. The answer would be A. All right, new push. We're going to leave multiple choice for a little bit. If you guys can go over to page 54. Page 54. On this pass, I want you to take 5 minutes, completely on your own. No help from anybody. We're going to focus in on the free response because I am worried greatly about free response tomorrow. So problem number 10. 5 minutes, no help from anybody. See what you can do. We'll talk in 5 minutes. Oh. Part A would be worth 4 points tomorrow. So the good news, in my little tour around the room, no one seems to be using the inverse derivative rule here, or derivatives for inverse functions. That's good, because every year it seems like some teenager, they get so excited, they're like, it's F, it's G, they're inverses. No. Unless you are explicitly told in the problem the functions are inverses, they're not inverses. That's the good news. The bad news is very few of you seem to be making enough progress on this. And this is not the hard question. I'm not trying to be mean. This is not the hard question. All right, time is up. So here's where we are, and Juan's back. All right, function g is given by g of x equals e to the ax plus f of x. All right, g of x, e to the ax plus f of x. I need to find g prime of 0. I need to find g double prime of 0. If I'm going to find g prime of 0, first thing, I need g prime of x. Derivative of e to the power of ax. Chain rule. This is e to the ax times a. Has to be e to the ax times a. Plus, what's the derivative of f of x? Just f prime. If you get there, first point. How many guys would have picked up the first point? Okay, some people, not as many as I was hoping. G prime of 0, plug it in. E to the a times 0 times a plus f prime of 0. You can't stop unless everything is a number. Okay, so e to the a times 0, if you know how to simplify, you should. A times 0 is 0. E to the 0? 1. Times a is just a. F prime of 0 is negative 4. So g prime of 0 is equal to a minus 4. Second point locked in. Now I need g double prime of 0, and here sometimes folks get confused and they're like, well, if here's g prime of 0, g double prime means take this guy's derivative. No, this is a number. You go back to g prime of x. G double prime of x, well, let's take the derivative. I've got e to the ax. So the derivative of e to the ax is e to the ax times a. Times a again. The first a is coming from the chain rule. The second a is coming from the fact that you're multiplying by a. So e to the ax times a. Plus, I need the derivative of f prime of x. F double prime of x. Congratulations. Third point. G double prime of 0 is e to the a times 0 times a plus f double prime of 0, which is 3. And you can stop there and get the point, and everything's good. Or you can simplify further. A times 0 is still 0. E to the 0 is 1. 1 times a times a? Oh, not 2a. A squared. A squared plus 3. That's g double prime of 0. And that would be worth the fourth point. Where are the friends that would have gotten 4 points? Carlos, Kayla, Nahum, how about 3 points? Okay, the folks that earned 3 points or 4 points, I'm going to ask you to go to this side of the room, and I want you to focus on part B. So, good luck, friends. You guys are going to go over there. Folks that did not earn 3 or 4 points on part A, I need you on this side of the room. And I want to give you a minute or two, see what you can do with part B. Part B is a 5-point question. This one is the push. See what you can do. So Evelyn and Jose, if you can move over to this side, please. Unless you guys were in the 3 to 4 points out of 4. You guys are over here. Ivan, you're fine where you are. All of you guys hit 3 or more points out of 4. You guys are on part B. Let me tell you your instructions. I'm going to leave you my solutions over here. I definitely want you to do part B. I think you're enough room to do a separate sheet. questions from a recent AP calculus, the column. Yeah, so focus on property flow. See what you do.
Yeah, right there. What is it?
My solutions for
Yeah,
okay. But really first. Hi. You know, my rag. That's right. There's a chain rule for sure. Absolutely, there's a problem. I didn't know the dot. There's a dot there. Good.
So that's correct.
Almost.
Is this number?
That is better, but not finished. That is equally good, but not finished.
I don't get it. How do you go from there to that?
Okay, so you guys have completely different issues going on. All right. All right, hold on. Okay, let's have. I want to have a real moment about what is likely to happen tomorrow. On a problem like this, you might have all the best intentions, and you know you need to go find the derivative because I want you to write the equation of the tangent line, which of course means I need a point and I need a slope. Everybody okay? So here's the problem that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of confusion around what actually is the way to find the derivative here. Just about everybody put in the multiplication dot. You're not going to fall for it. So I have a product going on. And let's do it. Product rule says take the derivative of the first piece. What's the derivative of the first piece?
Negative sign.
Negative sign. Keep going.
Parentheses. KX.
KX
Times K.
times K. Jackie, y times K.
Huh?
Y times K. You're right, but why are you multiplying by K?
Oh, well, because it says K is a constant and I'm using the A as a reference.
Okay? So the derivative of cosine of Kx, this is a chain rule problem. So negative sine of Kx times the derivative of the Kx. Because it's chain rule. I hear the word of when I say it out loud. Cosine of. That's the derivative for the first part. Now, times f of x. All the friends are okay? Kevin, are you okay back there?
And then it's times in front of it?
No.
Plus.
Because you get, what does the product rule tell you to do? You've got the first factor, and first product and the second product. Product rule says take the derivative of the first part, that's this guy here, times the second, but leave the second one alone.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Plus.
Plus
Cos of kx
Cos of kx.
times k
K.
times f times.
I disagree with the times k.
Oh, because it's leave it alone, right?
Product rule, derivative of the first times the second one plus the first one times the derivative of the second one. So that's f prime of x. And that's a 2-point derivative question for the friends on this side of the room. Did anybody actually get that derivative? Jose did. I think most of you got like one part of it or another. I saw a lot of folks that knew what to do with chain rule, but then missed the fact that it's product rule. Or you saw product rule and you blew it over here in the chain rule. And that could happen tomorrow. And at which point you get like 1 point out of 2. I'm not going to tell you tomorrow if you get the full points. What do we do next? Even if you have the wrong derivative, you're going to plug in 0. Where? To the derivative. You're going to find h prime of 0. So even if you have the wrong derivative, you're going to keep on going. Because this is what you do. So negative sine of what?
K.
0. K0. K is constant. 0 times k times f of 0. And if you're not sure, leave it for now. It's okay. Plus cosine 0 times f prime of 0. And if everything that you see is a number, stop. Yeah.
On the side it says cos of K to
Cos of k times x. And why did I write 0? You're good? Okay. If everything is a number or a constant, you can stop. We've got some things here that are not numbers. For example, what's f of 0? F of 0 is 2. F prime of 0, I think I gave that to you as well. Negative 4. I'll say it again. If everything is a constant, if everything is a number or a constant, stop. Is everything a number or a constant? Right? You might be like, but wait, what about sine of 0? What's sine of 0? If you know it, feel free to use it. If you don't know that sine of 0 is 0, if you're unsure, leave it. Leave it. Leave it, Jackie. On the free response, you can get the point. On the multiple choice, though, you're doomed. If you recognize that sine of 0 is 0, then I bet you know that this whole thing becomes 0. But what about cosine of 0? Is 1. So this whole thing is negative 4. If you make it to negative 4, congratulations, 1 point. That's the slope of the tangent line. That's the derivative. That's not the equation. You plug in 0 into h. So you're plugging into, what is that, cosine of k times 0 times f of 0, k times 0, no surprise. Still cosine of 0. F of 0 is that, was that 2? And again, I don't know what cosine of 0 is. Leave it. But cosine of 0 is 1, so you get 2. Put the whole thing together. L of x, negative 4x minus 0 plus 2. So I lied. It's a 4-point question, not a 3-point question. Okay. This is what I would expect you guys to be able to do tomorrow. And even if you blow it here, you're going to move forward and you're going to find the slope. You're going to write the equation of a tangent line because these are things you can do. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave this up here. If you're feeling good, okay, one more push coming your way. If you go to pages 65 and 66 in the unit guide, and that's what friends over there are working on, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. Some on pages 65 and 66. These are 7 questions that came from a recent AP exam. I think it was 2016. These are excellent practice questions. They're all really good practice questions for you. They're all really good, Jose. And you already all have the solutions from what I emailed earlier this week. So this is good. Yeah. Where are you going, Jose? Wait, where's everybody going? It's at 11:30, yeah. It's okay, don't worry, it's a small room. You don't need to pack up early. It's a small room. I'm not one of those teachers. Okay, fine. Now you can go. See, DeRozers don't leave early. We get places on time, but we never leave early. We shut the place down.